This one lady, we made her a pizza, and she told us, she's like, this is the one best thing that ever happened to me today. I just found out my mom has a terminal disease, and it was just, everything was just not a good day today, but this is the one best thing that happened. And to me, it made it all worth it.
We love the San Gabriel Valley. There are some amazing people and businesses here, and we think they deserve the spotlight. Welcome to the SGV Master Key Podcast. We'll have on the people that make the SGV great. We'll find out what makes them tick, their ups and downs, their history, and we're going to have fun doing it. This is the SGV Master Key Podcast. And now your hosts, Scott Warmoth and Russell Mano.
All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the SGV Master Key Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you are a new listener, we bring you the stories of the people that make up our great community, the San Gabriel Valley. And if you are a returning listener, thanks again for tuning in. And we hope to bring you another great episode here with another interesting guest from right here in the San Gabriel Valley. Well, we just ate lunch, Scott. It was a delicious lunch. Thank you for the lunch. We had Japanese sushi, but we were mentioning about pizza. And you have, if you're a regular listener of the show, you know that Scott has lived in New York for some time. And so pizza is like part of the culture there? Or I always hear this, slice thing.
Yeah, slice of pizza. It's just a big thing. Every corner has its pizza store or a couple of pizza stores, and you go in and get a slice. It's New York style pizza, which is a special type.
Yeah, and so I always hear there's some rules around like how you eat it, and
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I don't know those rules, but I just know that it was always something. Every time I go to New York now, I must buy a slice of pizza, and there's one place uptown at about 112th and Broadway. It's got these huge slices. It's known for just these huge slices, and if I'm in the neighborhood there, I will get one of those. But yeah, it's one of the iconic New York foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm a connoisseur of pizza. I've just heard these or seen on like social media, like you have to fold it in half to eat it.
They fold it, right.
Or like the water in New York is somehow special that it affects the crust. These are things that I've heard about New York pizza. Yeah. Pizza shops are, quite prominent, I would say, in the San Gabriel Valley, right? You can go to many shops. And actually, if you want to find out about more in the San Gabriel Valley, don't forget that you can check out San Gabriel Valley Now, your source for city news, announcements, events, special savings, and everything SGV. Check them out on Instagram, sgv.now, and read their SGV Now magazine on their website, sgv.now. Well, I was saying, if you want a slice of pizza, there's a lot of places to go. I'm not a fan of the, I don't know, do you call it big box pizza? Corporate pizza?
No, I'm not either. Yeah, I know what
we won't name their names, but the ones that you just,
that advertise on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I would imagine that to stand out in that industry, well, let alone restaurant, right? Because restaurant has a really low success rate, right? Most fail after 1 year, and then even more after 2 years or before 2 years. But to stand out in the business of pizza must be quite challenging, right?
And today's guest is a place that I had discovered, on my own several years ago, because I'm always looking for a place where you can get that slice of pizza, a good slice of pizza.
Sure.
And so that's why it stood out to me, because it's hard for, at least I haven't been able to easily find, a slice of pizza. You can get pizza. There's a lot of pizza places, but just that New York slice is what I'm always looking for.
Well, let's introduce our guest. His name is Brian Nittayo. He's the owner and operator of Rose City Pizza. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so, Scott said, what's our connection to Brian and Rose City Pizza? And I said, oh, well, a listener actually referred you, right? And a listener is actually a customer of yours, right?
Yeah, a long-time customer. Her name is Lotus, and she listens to this podcast often, and she told me I should be on it. and share my story. So thank you so much, Lotus. I'm here today because of you.
Yeah, thank you. That it's nice that a listener does that.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to Lotus. Well, Brian, what is your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
I grew up in Arcadia. I lived my whole life in the San Gabriel Valley, pretty much.
Okay.
Now I'm doing business in it.
And Rose City Pizza is located in the Target Shopping Center on Rosemead near the 10.
Yeah, Rosemead Boulevard and then 10 Freeway.
Right. And how long have you been there?
Since 2009.
Wow. So, okay. 14 years?
Yep, going on 14 years.
So I was sort of saying, like, in an industry where there's a low success rate and having to stand out, how have you been, existing there for 14 years?
It's been quite a tough road. We opened in the middle of the recession, 2009. We'd have days where we only made like $25, $50. I'd be working there all day. And that happened for a good 3 to 4 years. And I don't know how, grace of God, we're still there. Luckily, we have other businesses, Cold Stone Creamery, a few doors down. They were kind of floating us for a while. We had some money saved up that floated us. And then after about 4 years, we started to pick up.
So you actually own the Cold Stone Creamery?
Okay. Our family does.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister runs it.
Which was another place I would visit from
Pizza and ice cream go so well together. Yeah.
Right.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So after about 3 or 4 years, things started to pick up. But as I mentioned, I lived and worked out in New York for a little while, White Plains. I got the recipes from there. I wanted to be true, authentic New York style, have the slice, the crisp crust. And our foundation is that. But, I needed to find a way to differentiate myself. A lot of people would come and be like, hey, have you tried this place down the street? Have you tried that place? Like, your pepperoni pizza's good, but have you tried our pepperoni pizza, their pepperoni pizza? And I'm like, I don't want to be in the pepperoni rat race of who has a better pepperoni pizza. I want to create something totally different where no one else can compare me to. So after work, we'd hang out at taco trucks. That's my favorite. That's my love, actually, is Mexican food. I love Mexican food. But when I got into the business, they told me, you'd have more success being a pizza place as an Asian person than an Asian person cooking Mexican food. I'm like, okay, I kind of fell into that. So I started making pizza. But then my love for Mexican food came out when I'm like, hey, I'm eating this molita at this taco truck, and it's al pastor molita. I bet this would grow great on a pizza. And we started, I have a lot of Latino people working with me. And we worked on a recipe, and we started like making authentic al pastor that we put on the pizza. So the pizza is actually like a taco with, the cheese toppings and all those things. And people were mind blown, like, oh my God, I've never had a, al pastor pizza. So people would come from all over the place. As an Asian growing up in the SGV, like a lot of the influences are from the Latin cultures, the elote man.
Yeah.
One day I was craving elote. I was like, hey, why don't we just have the corn elote like ready? We could serve people the elote. And one of my friends said, hey, why don't you put it on a pizza? I was like, hey, let's try it. And it was a hit. So those two pizzas put us on the map. I think there were 11 million views on YouTube and throughout social media. So we had people coming from all over, Arizona, Las Vegas, just to try our pizza.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know what the elote man is. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Scott does.
Is that the corn?
Yeah.
But the man, elote man.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Yeah, he has a cart. He rings a bell. He puts mayo, chili powder,
it's not
cheese
one
on your
particular
corn.
person you're talking about.
No, he's a street vendor, but he goes through the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And sometimes it's in like a metal trash can. The corn is like just heated in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then there's some sort of bell or to draw attention.
Yeah.
So that was part of your life growing up?
That was a treat.
Really?
That was a treat. And that's something I crave at times,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, this show is to get into who you are and the things that, sort of inspired you or helped shaped you to go to where you are now. And there's this Mexican food influence in your life. And I see that for the listening audience who can't see, you have a lot of tattoos on you.
Yeah.
So, who is Brian growing up in the SGV or in Arcadia? What was that like?
It was mainly trying to find myself growing up. I think that's what a kid does, is they try different things. So I guess the tattoos could explain my love for art, because now I wear it. You know, I've always, the Huntington Library, I guess we'll get into that with SGV3, but that's one of my favorite places because it had art pictures and I could just stare at the paintings all day. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And my love for art also came out at the pizzeria. We highlight and we help local artists by putting their pictures up and selling it for them. We don't get a commission or anything, but I put it up on social media, like, hey, we're highlighting this artist, come and check them out. We have group art shows where it's fun. We get to choose fun themes like Super Mario Brothers. So everybody draws Mario and Luigi, whatever has to do with Super Mario. And we have events. So it's like it's a big like adult show and tell. So that was a lot of fun.
Mm. Did you go to Arcadia High School?
Sure did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then what took you from high school to New York?
So long story, but so we got into Cold Stone Creamery, and we wanted to get out of the franchise.
Who's we? Like you?
My dad, my sister, and myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and we wanted to get out of franchising. So that Cold Stone Creamery in Rosemead, where I'm at right today, it was a vacant spot. So we asked the landlord, "Hey, what can we want to be here, but what restaurant would you allow?" And they said either a Mexican or a pizzeria. And then we went for the pizzeria. And then we had another Cold Stone Creamery in Walnut. And 2 doors down from that was a pizzeria. So I told the guy, hey, can you teach me how to make pizzas? And he's like, sure, you're going to need some of my equipment. I have a lot of used equipment. So let's strike a deal where you buy my used equipment because you're going to need it, and I'll teach you how to make pizzas. I'm like, awesome. So, it took a while, like about a year to build out. And then 2 months before it was done, I'm like, hey, are you going to teach me how to make pizzas? And he's like, oh, I have bad news. I'm moving to Montana. I can't teach you how to make pizzas. I'm like, this pizza place is like pretty much open and I don't know how to make pizzas. So I went to, I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's called the Pizza Expo in Las Vegas. It's like the world's biggest pizza expo. Everybody who's somebody in the pizza business shows up to Las Vegas once a year, end of March. So on a whim, we went, my dad and I. And, we were kind of desperate, like trying to figure out how we're going to make pizzas. And then we bumped into Tony Gemignani. This guy's a 12-time world champion pizza maker. He's like the Michael Jordan of pizzas. And he was starting a school on how to teach you how to make pizzas. So I was one of his first students. So that kind of worked out. I went to San Francisco, North Beach, went through his course. And he's like, you're going to need more than that. So I'm going to send you up to New York, and you're going to work with my buddy. And so I worked there for 3 to 4 months learning how to make pizzas. I didn't get paid. I just worked. I didn't even get to like sightsee. I just worked. They really used me. And they said, when you make it, you can come back and do all the sightseeing stuff. But we need your help and you need to learn. So that's what I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That shows how much I know about making pizza, because I wouldn't imagine it's a process to learn like so much stuff about.
Oh yeah. It's a lot. Even to this day, I'm still learning. I'm taking artisan bread making classes. I'm sampling different cheeses. I'm working with different cheese blends. Trying different tomato products for the sauce. Everything is like trying to dial everything in. My goal is to make, like, you haven't been there in a while, Scott. It's probably going to taste different and better than you had it before, because my goal is to make it taste better. Your second pizza to taste better than the first. So that's what I've always been working on, is trying to up the game, like never stay complacent.
How does, at a restaurant like yours, do you get many people who just buy a slice, or are they buying a whole pizza?
Yes. So I like the slice. A lot of the slice houses kind of got extinct for a while. There's no money in slices, really. It's $3 a slice. But now I see slices for $7 and $10. But our slices are still $3 something. We haven't gotten a price for like 6 years. But the slice is kind of a gateway to them buying the whole pie later. They don't want to get a whole pie, and they don't like it, and they're stuck with a whole pie. Let's try a slice first. So that's how I get people to say, hey, I really like roast. I really love my slice. Mm-hmm. I think I'll get a whole pie next time. So that's how it's been happening. Yeah.
So you basically worked for free in New York to learn the craft, yeah? And what was that experience like? Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Was it difficult?
You know what? It was a lot of work, but I'm glad they didn't hold anything back from me. You know what I mean? So I knew the type of business I was getting into. Like, it's very labor intensive, you know, picking up 80 pounds of dough out of the mixer, cutting it, shaping it, getting all the sauce ready, everything, you know. Now you're open for service, and you get hit with 50 orders all in 1 hour, and you just got to crank them out. You know, that's
50 orders in 1 hour. 50 orders in 1 hour.
We did that during COVID. COVID was a real eye opener. It was the busiest time for pizzerias because we didn't get shut down. But yeah.
Oh, why is that?
Because we're not mainly a sit down place, and the sit down places kind of had to shut down. So we shut down our dining room, which was like 10 tables, but people could still come in and out and get carry out. So
what's it like? You talked about the preparation, you know, preparing the dough and then all of that. What time do you have to start? Do you open at 11?
We open at 11.
So what time are you there, or your earliest workers?
I used to get there at like 6, but now we've dialed it in where we do pre-prep the night before. So the dough will rise, ferment overnight, and then we just shape it the next day. So the dough is, you know, everything's in the crust. I think what makes the pizza is the crust.
The crust, yeah, to me is an important part. Yeah. But I sure like the tomato sauce too.
Oh yeah. So the tomato sauce is good, and we get our tomatoes here in California. And we make sure.
So you make it from
sweet.
Scratch?
No, it's called Stanislas, and they're tomato. I guess they're tomato people. And they, you know, we taste different. They're canned whole tomatoes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we taste the tomatoes, make sure they're good and sweet.
You're open Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. Do you? I know restaurant people would know the answers to these questions, but I don't. So I want to ask you, how do you know how many meals to prepare for in a given day? Is it just based on, is Monday different than Thursday?
Yeah,
you know,
based on forecasting. So if you see a holiday, people are off of school, you kind of want to get everything ready for more covers.
So what happens when you miscalculate either too much or too little? I mean, if too little, you're just kind of out of food. But too much, you just have to toss everything?
Most of the time, yes.
How close do you come on your forecasting on a day by day?
See, that was one of the challenges when we first opened. So I was throwing away a lot of food. But now we get it pretty close. I have charts, pars that people prepare up to for certain days. So we have a big prep, little prep for during the week. But we have to just figure out holidays coming up, like Super Bowl. You know, we know how to prep up to that. So
you know Super Bowl now because you've gone through 13 or so of them. But do you get that right pretty much?
Yeah. I've dialed it in, so
wow,
we're pretty good at it now. Yeah. It took a while. It took 5 years maybe. Yeah.
Brian, we ask each guest to bring an item of significance with them. What did you bring with you today?
Okay, so I brought this bullet. My dad used to make bullet keychains, and how we...
That one there. Yeah.
Yeah, how we spent time growing up was we went to the shooting range. He loved his guns, and I love spending time with him. I also like shooting, but I'm kind of out of practice now. It always reminds me of him because he was a big part of my life, a big influence in my life. He told me once that, you know, if you keep shooting bullets at a target, one of them will hit the bullseye. So that's how I kind of live my life, where I'm always trying new and different things. One of them will hit, just like the elote, just like the Al Pastor pizza. People loved it. But I approach every problem where, like, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying different things until I find a solution.
What's something new in your life right now that you know, kind of taken on?
The second shop. I'm in Covina now most of the time. It's been challenging, to say the least. I opened last year. I couldn't take my experienced people from Rosemead, who's been with me since day one. I had to hire a lot of first-time people with their first jobs, so like 16-year-olds. For some reason, I couldn't find people to work, or people don't want to work. And it was tough teaching them from scratch, someone who's never cooked on a pan, to make a pasta. It's getting better. We have more systems in place, but it's been challenging to get established there. I guess maybe I was spoiled with Rosemead. After 10 years, 13 years, we were established, but now I'm starting over again. At least we have the name to kind of carry us a little bit better than the first time. But
has the challenge been the same as it was at the first shop, or a different kind of challenge?
I feel like it's a different kind of challenge. At least, as I said, we have our name to kind of carry us this time, but it's a different demographic, I would say, because here in Rosemead, we have Latinos and Asians. I have those pizzas that they can relate to. There's a different demographic there, I would say, more Caucasian, maybe. And, you know, they're into their traditional pizzas, the pepperoni, the Hawaiians, the meat lovers. But we really shine with our fusion pizzas. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the reason why I'm taking advanced bread making classes. I'm, really dialing in on our core ingredients, because I guess I do want to make the best pepperoni now over there.
I thought you were going to say there's a large amount of Filipinos there.
Down the street, down Grand Avenue, there is, and they love my Manila Sunrise pizza.
Okay, so you have a Filipino pizza.
Yeah.
What's on that?
We make our own longanisa.
Oh, okay. You make your own longanisa?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's ground pork, and we put soy sauce and all the spices in there, tons of garlic.
I mean, it would just be so easy to just buy it, right? And like to make it in house, that's cool.
Yeah. We try to do everything in house. And what else do we do? Fried garlic. It's great.
This is on the what did you call it? The
Filipino Sunrise, yeah.
Filipino Sunrise.
Oh, Manila Sunrise.
Manila Sunrise.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get back to your father. Is your father still with you?
No, he passed in 2015.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thanks.
And so I sort of sense that, as I think you said, use the past tense, in mm-hmm. describing him. But did your father get to know your success with Rose City?
My mom and I talk about it all the time, and we wish he would have been around to see it grow to what it is today. This whole thing was his idea, pretty much. I went to college to be a teacher, and I majored in PE, I majored in history, I majored in English. I bounced around in majors, and I think he kind of knew me better than I knew myself. Then he took me aside and said, "Hey, why don't you try business? Maybe this teaching thing isn't for you." But, as a kid, I'm like, hey, I like history, I like English, I love PE. But I don't know, it never sat well with me. So I started taking business classes, and I got real interested in it. So I ended up graduating Cal Poly in hotel and restaurant management. Yeah, I feel like even if I did become a teacher, I would probably have a side hustle as a business. I would probably end up going into business somehow. So he knew me better than I knew myself.
The story, or the analogy, I guess, with the shooting bullets and hitting bullseye, that's really cool.
Yeah. He came up. He has some good analogies, stories to tell me.
What was his background?
He is a mechanic. Well, he came from Thailand, and he immigrated from Thailand to come here, and his first job was at a gas station. He worked many years at the gas station. Soon he became a mechanic. Then he owned his own Unical 76, and he had two throughout his lifetime.
And then he also was part of Cold Stone Creamery.
Yeah, so what happened was he retired from the gas station business, and I think he spent about two years at home just being Mr. Mom and taking care of my little brothers and stuff, and he had that itch to go back into business. So he started the Cold Stone Creameries with my sister and I, And then after that, we started the pizzeria together.
Are you ethnic Thai?
Thai Filipino. My mom's Filipino, born and raised in Hawaii.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out, right? Like I was like, no clue. I have no clue. But do you get that often?
What?
That people can't figure out your ethnicity by looking at you?
I guess I have a lot of Filipino features. So so everyone's like, hey, pare, they think I'm Filipino right off the bat. So that's cool. But my last name sounds Japanese, and yeah. So yeah, some people have a hard time.
It's Thai though? Your last name is Thai?
Yeah, my last name is Thai.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing you really hit the target on, I saw your Instagram site, and you have 50,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
How could you build to numbers like that? I mean, that's a pretty sizable number of followers.
That's from all the viral pizzas, the pizzas that no one else has. People share it throughout social media. The last big one was the birria pizza. I love the birria tacos. I'm not sure if familiar with birria, where you dip it in the consomme.
Oh yeah, I love Pepe's Red Taco Truck. I don't know if you've ever tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, their birria tacos are good.
Yeah. So we do that. We do that on the pizza.
So you have a big viral
following,
yeah,
social media following.
And as that happens, your followers climb. You can see that
Yes.
happening, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
So how many copycats have there been since you started the Elote Pizza and the Al Pastor?
You know what? I'm not counting, but people do. They tag me or they send me screenshots. I don't care too much. It's fine. Everyone knows the original person.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that's wise, right? Like not to get so caught up in what other businesses are doing.
Yeah, maybe it used to bug me, but it's fine.
Have you ever had a birria taco?
No,
Scott?
I haven't.
I think it's like gained popularity only in the last 2 years or so, maybe even less than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's been around for a long time, but the popularity of it has really grown that you see even mainstream places start offering birria tacos now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've got them mainly from trucks?
I mean, that's
restaurants.
That's the only place that I have had it.
What
at.
is it? Is that from a
Stewed.
certain part of, say, Mexico or what?
I believe so, but I'm not quite sure which province or whatever, which area. But yeah, it's a stewed, slow cooked, shredded beef. Yeah, it's very
and you dip it.
You dip it.
You know where I first heard of it was on Mark Wien's YouTube. You know who Mark Wiens is? He has I forget what it is. He's a food blogger, is not right, but he's a food reviewer, and so he was reviewing food in Los Angeles. No, I think he was reviewing the best tacos in Los Angeles, and it was a truck on Alameda or Central downtown. And it was the first time I ever heard of it. Maybe that helped to spur the popularity of it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was a bunch of things. Yeah, people just went birria crazy.
I want to get into, the things that you're doing now, what you have in store coming up in the future, but let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
At Wormuth Law, they believe that just because you speak a foreign language, come from a different culture, or simply don't know how to navigate the legal system, that should not prevent you from compensation from injury or receiving benefits. Their multicultural staff have been helping SGVers like you for over 38 years. Visit law888.com or call them at 626-784-7017 and tell them you heard about them on this podcast.
All right, we're back with Brian and Rose City Pizza. Before we move on, Brian, we're going to go to this little segment of the show where we ask questions from this card game. It was actually a former guest of the show. You can just answer one or none or both. They're just lighthearted questions. Sometimes not so lighthearted, but they're supposed to be lighthearted. So here we go. So the cards are called Like You cards. Question number 1, when's the last time you went on vacation? And question number 2, do you prefer to shower in the morning or at night?
So I answer both?
You can answer one, none, or both. Yeah.
Oh, I'll answer both.
Okay.
So my dad is actually buried in Hawaii. So when he was at the City of Hope, he said, don't feel bad for me. I'm going to Hawaii. So that's where he wanted to be buried. So we visited him last summer.
Awesome.
So I try to make it out to Hawaii, at least, I guess, whenever I can. But I was fortunate to see him or visit with him this past summer. Well, summer 22. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then showering. I think just like you, I like to work out during the day, and I need to shower before I go to sleep.
Okay.
Because
how do you know that I work out?
Because we talked before.
Oh, okay. You remember that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm definitely a morning shower. I always have. Yeah, I like that. Of course, I can take a second one if I work out, whatever. But yeah, I like it. I like coming to work, clean.
Okay. And then what about when the last time you went on vacation?
So I don't even know what is considered a vacation, to be honest. I mean, like if it's a weekend thing, I've done that just last weekend. I went on a short trip, but as far as a longer one, boy, that I don't take many long ones. I think I remember maybe a week a couple of years ago. Went up to New England, Boston, and up to Maine. So that was that was like 4 years ago before COVID. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, do I prefer showers in the morning? I don't do showers. I do a bath. I prefer a bath. So, and I always like to have a bath in the morning. It's part of my morning routine. If I could have an ice bath every morning, just as easily as I can when I'm in Canada, I would do that here. I really enjoy ice bath. But last time on vacation, a destination vacation or getting away from town probably was back in 2020, I think. In Canada, we got an Airbnb by the lake in Manitoba, and that was nice. Yeah. So anyway, so back to Brian. Your father is from Thailand, and your mom is Filipino from Hawaii. So are they from Hawaii originally?
No, they met over here at PCC.
What? So explain the whole why Hawaii thing.
So my aunt moved here first, I believe, to Pasadena, and
from
Hawaii.
Okay.
And then my mom followed her to go to school at PCC.
Okay.
And my dad, in Thailand, you look at the U.S. like land of opportunities. So he wanted to come to the U.S. to study, and they met, and he just ended up staying here.
So from Thailand, your dad landed in San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the year?
No, I don't. No. He was in but he was like first year in college, like PCC. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. Went to Marquepo High School. Like maybe 70% Asian. I have Asians of all types, but I would say I think I can only remember one or two Thai, and I only remember what stands out is their last name, right? Because their last name was challenging for me to remember. But were there a lot of Thais here when you were growing up?
No, like one or two or
Yeah.
Filipinos too. One or two or three. But
And so did you just integrate into the Filipino culture here, or
I
what was that
integrated
like?
into the Chinese culture.
Into the Chinese culture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I was surrounded by, is like Taiwanese people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they still must have asked, 'cause they're like, you're not Chinese, are you?
But I'm kind of like the Asian chameleon. I guess I blend in.
Okay. And is that true that Thai last names are generally
Yes.
much longer?
They're long, but I'm very fortunate to have a shorter one.
I see. Okay. Well, Brian, so your restaurant is in the Target shopping center here, and when I look at your creations, there's a chashu pizza also, right?
Yeah.
They're so unique. They're so interesting. I know the Covina store is on the front burner right now, but what are some of the things that you have in mind in the future for yourself, your store?
I just want to get everything down, especially with the Covina location. More systems in place. Where I have 2 kids now and a family.
Oh.
I kind of want to be there for them and with them. Growing up, my parents both worked. They weren't around, so I guess I got into trouble, or I did some things. So I kind of want to be there for my kids and be in their lives more. So that's pretty much my goal. Our mission at Rose City Pizza is to make people happy through pizza. So all my decisions and everything I do is guided by that mission. People want their food quicker. We integrated an oven that is quicker. Everything we've done is to make people happy through pizza. They don't like their pizza coming home like not too crispy. So we found a liner that keeps it crispier. This one lady, I feel like sometimes I just make pizza, I'm not making a difference. But this one lady, we made her a pizza, and she told us, she's like, this is the one best thing that ever happened to me today. I just found out my mom has a terminal disease, and it was just, everything was just not a good day today, but this is the one best thing that happened. And to me, it made it all worth it. So that's my goal, and that's what I aim for, is to just make people happy through what I do. I've always had it in me to serve people, and I guess I'm just doing it through pizza.
Sure. I mean, when I look at, again, a pizza place standing out, having longevity here, there has to be some other component to it, right? There has to be something more to than just offering something interesting. Like you must be delivering something else. And I think that's what your mission is coming through with, what you're delivering. I'm curious. So there's a phrase that you manage people, and you manage things and you lead people. So as a business owner, you have a lot to manage and things going on, but you also lead people. How do you go into this new venture and be able to sort of delegate some of your authority and build those systems? Like, how does that work in your mind, and how did you come up with those thoughts or ideas on how to do that?
So two of our core values is accountability and integrity, also attitude. Accountability is a big one. They all have checklists, they all have tasks. They need to be able to do those. Integrity is, do they do those well? Can I come in and be like, who made the pizza sauce? Tastes kind of off. Instead of cooks just pointing at each other, hey, I think I did it. Well, let's do better next time. Let me help you. Growing up, I always saw my dad working, and he worked hard, and there were people around him, and they would work together, and he'd be the leader. Have you guys been to Beeman's?
Yeah.
I have,
okay.
Yeah.
Byron's a good friend of mine, but growing up, I always admired him, and now we're kind of friends. Where he was on the line cooking with everybody, and they were all working together, and he was the leader. And now I see myself as that. You have that respect, and you earn that respect with your team, with your crew, and that's how things can run kind of without you, because they respect you and they know their work, what they do, and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you started with values, because that's a huge thing in leading teams and building culture. I spoke with Byron. Mm-hmm. I spoke with him. I invited him to be on the show. The offer still stands. I think he was very busy at the time, but he told me that he knew my brother, and that my brother helped him open.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know my brother, Kerry?
No.
Kerry Mano?
Maybe.
No.
No.
He's 6'4", Japanese guy. If you knew him, you would remember him.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was surprised because a small world, right?
Yeah.
Like, Byron didn't know me, and he's like, "Oh, your brother helped me to open this."
Yeah.
So
Byron's a good guy. Yeah, I was very fortunate to get to know him. Yeah.
And B-Man's, like, in the story or history of San Gabriel Valley, used to be Spike's, right?
And I think Spike's used to be here.
Right
here,
next door. Yeah, right next door.
Right next door. Yeah.
And
I used to go to Spike's, and it's funny, like they would have like all these muscle men, and I thought if I ate at Spike's more often, I'd become more like strong like that.
I just remember you could smell it from like a block away, right? Because they had the grill going, and there was like a ton of people in there. And if you went through a drive-through, like, you could get through, and it was going really fast. But even inside, it was just like an army in there working.
Well, what were they, hamburgers or what?
Like teriyaki bowls, hamburgers.
Oh,
yeah.
Beef bowl, teriyaki bowl.
Yeah.
So it was a B-Man's type of menu?
Yeah.
I think almost identical.
Yeah. Almost identical.
Yeah.
I was bummed when they closed Spike's right here, and then
when do you think
Beeman's.
they closed? Do you have any idea?
Don't know.
I don't know.
You might want to ask Byron if you get him here.
I sort of remember seeing there were a couple of locations, right?
I think so.
Spike's? I don't think so. I think
just one?
Yeah, I think just the one. But B-Man's had a location in Duarte.
They just
closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now they have the one in San Gabriel.
Oh, just the one now?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But when I spoke to him, he shared a similar problem of like workers. Like it's just a different generation now. I think
It is. Yeah, I don't know. It is. I hate sounding like I'm old, but they don't make them like they used to.
Yeah.
As long as they don't say that about your pizzas.
No.
Well, Brian, we're going to get into some of the things that you also like to do or see in the San Gabriel Valley now.
So, Brian, what are 3 meaningful experiences or places that you have here in the Valley?
You know what? They're all pretty close to home in Arcadia. I would say my old neighborhood. I grew up across from the Arboretum.
Oh, yeah.
So we would have, those peacocks.
Which part of it? Yeah.
They're college streets. Like,
oh, the college streets.
Yeah,
I know, because I
Stanford,
used to live right in that
Really?
area. Well, not in the
Oh.
college streets, but in Lower Rancho.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, I really miss my old neighborhood.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't afford to live there anymore, but all the kids that I knew on that street,
Yeah.
I would be out in the morning till nighttime just riding my bike around, playing Nintendo at one guy's house. Another guy had a half pipe. I love riding skateboards. I knew all the kids in the neighborhood.
It's just a real nice, those are real nice neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Right around there. The college streets and then
Uh-huh.
Lower Rancho, Upper
Yeah.
Rancho. And very, very nice neighborhoods.
Mhm.
And could you hear the horse races every day?
Yes.
You could hear, you could hear the call,
Yes. You could place bets in our backyard.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
peacocks are quite something though, right?
They're quite something. Like, if you gotta be careful though. If you wash your car, you wax your car,
yeah.
and they walk by and they see the reflection, they start scratching your car because they think it's another peacock they're fighting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They actually are quite a bothersome
Yeah.
collection, to be honest.
Do you know why they're there?
They were brought over, I think, by who was that original
Baldwin
figure?
or-
Baldwin.
Yeah.
Lucky Baldwin. Right?
I think. Yeah.
I think it was like, a Victorian thing to do to have like peacocks just wandering your lawn.
Yeah.
And now the noise that they make is just
the noise,
incredible.
they're dirty. They don't leave your yard.
Yeah. We're used to it, but it sounds like they're saying help, like
Yeah.
in your
Oh,
trees.
yeah.
Yeah.
And many listeners may not know what we're talking about. These are like a lot of peacocks just wandering
Yeah.
the streets, and they don't seem afraid of cars either, right? Like they just
No.
No.
There's a huge fine. That's why if you ever hit one,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'd be in big trouble.
you'd be in big trouble.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
How about another location? So that's
So
one of 3.
We mentioned it, the racetrack. So
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big gambler, but I've always had a fascination with horses. They're just majestic creatures, and I like sneaking into the racetrack just to watch them run.
Can you go in, like, see the back barns? Do you go through there?
Yeah.
So you see where they're stabled and the crew working.
Yes.
From early in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. I love horses. I watched every movie about a horse.
Really?
I even got a tattoo of horses.
Really? Which was your favorite horse?
Really?
It's just I like Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit originated there too.
Sure. Yeah. My favorite was always Seattle Slew.
Oh.
That
I
was
need
a
to look
great
that horse up.
Huh?
I need to look that horse up.
Oh, that's probably one of the top 5 greatest horses. And all of the horses that I don't know how you put it, that it sired. And its progeny is just incredible.
Oh, wow.
But Seattle Slew, 1977, I think was 79, won the Triple Crown. It never trailed in a race. Never trailed.
Seattle Slew. Got it.
Yeah.
The name sounds familiar. I vaguely remember like Man of War, Secretariat.
Well, those were
Secretariat,
going way back, to like the 30s or before, maybe.
Have you heard of a movie or seen a movie Far Lap?
No.
Yeah, that's
No,
a horse
I thought I'd
race
seen
movie
them all. Okay.
that they handicapped him in a lot, and he still won, and then he ended up getting poisoned.
And Seabiscuit was also a movie that was filmed at
Mhm.
Santa Anita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Far Lap, FPHARLAP.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
about a handicapper.
No, it's about the horse. The
Oh.
horse, like it would win. It would just keep winning, and they kept putting more weight on it.
It's a true story.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. And I think it raced in Mexico or something, and then it was poisoned and it died.
wow.
Yeah,
That's sad.
it's a really great movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll check
it's
it
an
out.
old one.
Yeah,
I don't.
thanks.
Yeah.
I'll try to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about another?
Okay, so the third
Spot.
one would be, I mentioned it before, but
Huntington Library.
yes. So I don't get to take very many vacations, but if I want to take a little mini vacation, it seems like it transports me to somewhere else, is the Huntington Library, because they have the Japanese gardens, the Chinese one too. And you can just close your eyes and it feels like you're there.
But you like the artwork there too.
I love the artwork there too. Yeah, all the paintings. I can just get lost there all day.
Yeah.
Awesome. Before we close up here, can you talk a little bit about your tattoos? So you have the horse one on your left forearm.
Yeah, so I love horses. These are the Pharaoh's horses. I like the traditional style tattoos. So these were like what the sailors wore back in the day, and they I feel like they stood the test of time. You know, these tattoos.
How many do you have?
I lost count. My whole back is covered, my front, my legs.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time at a tattoo shop just being bored, and I would lend my skin for them to practice on.
What is the cost and the time to get let's say a tattoo like one of your traditional ones?
I don't know. To tell you the truth, like maybe this is only $50. This is maybe like 200.
And how long would it take to get it?
Like 2 to 3 hours. My pieces are small, but like maybe my back, that would take maybe about 3-5 hour sessions.
So you're still worth several $1,000s.
See my skin, yeah. But yeah.
It's
What was the
interesting, you know, the I would not have, if I had to guess what your SGV3 would be and the things that you were into, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have guessed based on your outward appearance, you know, with the shaved head and the tattoos. I know better than to judge a book just by its cover. Like I have a lot of tattoos. I don't know if you know. But yeah, I never would have guessed. I never would have guessed you choosing those ones. So
Yeah, I don't have a professional career, so take advantage of it, right? Get tatted up. No, but these have been going on since like even before I could get tattoos. I got tattoos. So yeah.
So what do you say to your kids? Because you know, one time my youngest daughter, she was like drawing, and it was like clearly like with marker and you know people on her arms, and they're like, no, what do you know? Don't do that. And she's like, it's a tattoo. I was like, don't do that. She's like, it's a tattoo like you, Daddy. And I was just like, oh my gosh. What do you say to your little ones?
I think my mom would hate to hear it, but when she first saw my first tattoo, she's like, you better go in the bathroom and scrub that off. It better be fake.
Oh no.
I was like, but Mom, it's a cross. It's a good thing. No, I don't care. So like now my kids are doing the same thing like as your kids, but I feel like they're destined to get tattoos too. So maybe I will like steer them into getting the right one or the right artist, not a scratcher in a garage or something. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story with us and
my
our
pleasure.
listeners.
Yes, thanks for having me.
If people want to come check out your restaurant and your pizzas or get in contact, what's the best way to do that?
Just you can direct message us on Instagram, email us at rosecitypizza@gmail.com. You could do the contact form on our website, rosecitypizza.com. All kinds of ways. It all comes to me.
What's the address of your restaurants?
So the Rosemead location is 3588 Rosemead Boulevard on the corner of, in the plaza, 10 Freeway and Rosemead Boulevard. And then the Covina location is 602 North Grand Avenue in Covina. Cross streets are San Bernardino and Grand.
And for someone who's never been there before, what's the recommendation?
You know what? Try a slice. See if you like it.
How many items on your menu? How many pizzas?
I lost count, but I think it's about 22 right now.
Wow. Awesome. Brian, I wish you success with your new store and continued success with the Rosemead location.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Well, there you go. There's another show for you. Thanks for tuning in and spending this time with us. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you thought about this episode and if you've tried Rose City Pizza, let us know what you like there. You can find the full back catalog of our episodes on our website, sgvmasterkey.com. And until next week, we'll see you then.
You've been listening to the SGV Master Key Podcast. Our passion is the small businesses and the people that make up the San Gabriel Valley, and it's our honor to have them on the show. We hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to like, rate, and review. The show is produced by Russell Mano, edited by Victoria Allers of Kind Monster Productions. Thanks for listening, and see you next time on the SGV Master Key Podcast.
Master, no, kind of master.